All right, welcome to the Peninsulas. My name is Laura and I live in Florida.
I'm Shannon and I live in Michigan.
So, on this YouTube channel, we just want to take you from muggy and buggy to foggy and boggy in our homesteading journey.
That's right. We've been two best friends for about 30 years now. Like,
Mhm.
eventually you lose track of time. But we've always been really passionate about animals and growing things, farming. We've always just dreamed of starting our own farms. And finally, that's what we're getting to do right now.
Yep. So, I started about 3 years ago, but only really just got going in the last year or so. And then, Shannon, you started what, about 8 months ago?
Basically, this past summer, moved up here in January. You obviously cannot garden in January. So in April, we got our first set of chickens and kind of been cruising along since then.
Yeah. Yeah, so we just basically started talking. Well, I always talk to Shannon, right? I always talk to you about what I was doing here on the farm. But then once you got your farm, we just started chatting about what we were doing and what
Yeah.
was working and what wasn't working, right? And then it kind of took off from there.
Yeah. And that's really what motivated us to start this is because we thought, oh, this is really fascinating. Because Laura's like, yeah, I'm planting seeds in February. I'm like, oh, there's snow on the ground. Like, I'm counting down the days till I can start my seeds indoors. So we
Mhm.
thought that it would be a really cool option to just let other people see the contrast of homesteading in a summer, I would say chronically summer area like Florida
Yeah.
versus a place that has a lot more fluctuation in temperatures, shorter growing season, and just kind of enjoy the contrast like we have.
hmm Yeah, because it's really different from there to here, and it's been fun for us to kind of talk about what we're doing at any given time. So yeah, we thought why not turn it into a channel so you guys can learn and enjoy as well.
Right. And another thing that motivated it was the absolute beginning where we're at. So Laura's been at it for a little longer than I have. I'm an absolute beginner. And as much as I'd like to think I know what I'm doing, I don't. And every day brings a new challenge. Like yesterday, I had a chicken who was wheezing. Like chickens don't wheeze. So I had to figure that out off the cuff. And so just kind of knowing that we can share our super, super beginning, the very beginning, and
hmm
share the things that we learn as we learn them. And also maybe get some ideas from you guys, motivations, and just be really open and honest about how homesteading is not idyllic. It's not beautiful all the time, but definitely worth doing. And like that being said, everybody also has different reasons for starting. And I know Laura's reasons are different than my reasons. So I'll let
Yeah.
you share some of your reasons first.
Yeah, well, growing up, right, we were in 4-H together and we were doing all these things. And that was just it felt right as a kid to be doing the livestock and the whatever the 4-H had to offer. But then as we grew up, I got away from the country and I found myself living in major cities, but it never felt right, and I always had this longing for the country again. So during that time, I started reading a lot about homesteading, about sustainable farming, and I really permaculture really grabbed my interest. I thought, man, what a cool concept. Um, and so when I got the opportunity to have a little piece of land and to start doing my own little homestead, I thought, wow, I want to try some permaculture, but also, I want to integrate the animals into it, and I want to grow my own food, whether it's animals or plants. And for the animal side of it, I just wanted to know that the animals were healthy, happy for their life, and humanely processed and not wasted. Basically, it was a big thing for me. I don't like how there's just hundreds of thousands of pounds of meat that gets disposed of because it's got an expiration date, right? Um, and so those were just kind of the factors. I was interested in permaculture. I wanted my animals to be happy and healthy, and I wanted to know where my food was coming from, basically.
Yeah, some of that's the same for me. We grew up in the same town, so we grew up in the country and moved to bigger cities, vastly different bigger cities than Laura did. But um, apartment life, not for me. I counted down the days until I could move back to a piece of land where I could have some space and that I could honestly just be free to kind of do what I wanted on my property. But also, my children are a big motivation. I want my children to grow up in an environment where hard work is visibly paying off, that they learn what hard work is, and that they just have the freedom to go outside and be kids and just run free. And um, we focus a little bit more on restricting screen time. And so that gives them a really big piece of land. Well, I say really big, it's not huge, only about 4 acres, but a piece of land where they can just play and be creative, get really dirty all the time, and just
Important.
learn how to live with animals and respect the animals as well.
Mm.
Um, Knowing that my animals are being raised in a humane way is a big thing for me, especially chickens. We eat a lot of chicken in our house. Um, And I know that the chicken industry, it's very difficult for them to be raised in a humane way to be able to meet the needs of mass production. And so, even though it might not be changing the meat world, it feels like a significant contribution. And I really, that's what I want for my animals. And yeah, those are some really big things that are important to me. And I know that everybody has different reasons and it's not always for everyone.
Mm.
But I think that one of the motivators for the channel is to be able to show people that even if they can't or don't want to put in that effort, they can partner with someone who does, another homesteader or something, and make a contribution to kind of reducing that meat industry or industrial farming industry that isn't necessarily doing it themselves.
Right. Or in a healthy way. So yeah, supporting locally if you can is always good. So yeah, we're just kind of here to help encourage people if they do want to pursue this kind of life, um, and to show our successes and failures, but always hanging on to our joy, basically,
Yeah,
through it all. And if you're not at all into farming or buying locally or anything, just come for the entertainment because I expect it's going to be quite a wild ride for both of us.
for sure, because we're both vastly different personalities. In
Mhm.
fact, my farm is named the Struggle Bus Enterprise, motivated by mainly my chaotic brain that is constantly making everything a struggle, even if it's not. Um, Overthinking, overworking, it just constantly is making the simplest tasks seem like a struggle because life is chaos. But and then Laura is much more poetic and lit
Mm.
literally, what is that's not a word, but
Literature oriented,
there
I
you
don't
go. Yeah,
know. It
something.
sounds so pretentious, but I'm really not a pretentious person.
No, not at all. Just very creative, and I'm not creative, but you are creative.
Yeah, so my farm is called Even Song Farm. Um, I've been very heavily influenced by England and English culture, and my ideal world is living in a cute little English cottage with the perfect little kitchen garden and orchard in the back, with ducks and whatever. But reality is not that way. Um, so yeah, we go about things differently. We have different visions for the future, I think. But I think it's going to be really fun to kind of compare and contrast and show just the reality and the nitty gritty of what daily life looks like on a homestead because it may not be perfect, but it's still 1,000% worth doing.
Absolutely. And like Laura mentioned, joy is our focus. So we want to be able to have joy in our hard work and our struggles.
Mhm.
Even though they are struggles, there's still joy there, and there's still the ability to see that joy on a daily basis. And after we will show you the life after the picture is taken for the English countryside. And I think that some of our long-term goals are definitely producing a place where people can be part of it. I know, Laura, you want to do some like educational outreach for the community. I would like to be able to find a way to sustainably bring um, extra production, if I ever get that point. Lord willing, I will. Extra production to people who need it in a useful way, and being able to not necessarily educate people on the land unless somehow that opens up as an opportunity, but just giving a place where people can ask questions and I can finally have an educational base to educate and give possibly good advice.
Yeah. Yeah, long term, it would be nice to maybe run a little farm stand in the community where people can buy, local fresh food if I have extra too, which I haven't gotten to that point yet. Um, and yeah, maybe just spread the love of small time farming to anybody that has an interest and wants to come out, maybe plant their own little plant and take it home, or milk the cow, or do something that's hands-on, where they can learn and enjoy the farm as well. So we'll
Yeah,
see. Still pretty far away from that, I think, but working towards
yeah,
something.
definitely long-term goals.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
I think one thing most homesteaders will always say something about we want to be self-sufficient and we want to not have to rely on the grocery stores or the and just be able to produce everything we need all in one place. And as much as that would be really cool, I feel like my idea of self-sufficiency is to be able to build a community in which exchange or they provide a need that I can't necessarily provide myself because I don't necessarily think that you can ever be 100% self-sufficient and not be dead exhausted all the time or killing yourself with hard work. But creating the ideal situation where I can provide something someone else needs and they can provide a need for me, and reaching that self-sufficient goal is a
Mhm.
long-term goal for where we're at.
Yeah, that's a good point because when I first started out, I had this vision of being wholly self-sufficient, um, which I have since learned is impossible. So so even we who are doing our own little farm and growing our own food will reach out to the local community, say, hey, we can't raise a steer ourselves, or we can't grow all the vegetables, but we'd like this, this, and this. And usually there are people that fill in those gaps. And in my ideal world, I'd like to even take it a step further and have kind of go back to a barter system. I'm not sure exactly how all that would pan out or look like, but to be able to exchange goods instead of money, I think would just create even more sense of community, and of helping each other out, and kind of creating more of a simplistic and wholesome world. But
Yeah.
it's harder to even get that far, to
Yeah.
go beyond monetary value to bartering. But it's still part of the vision for me.
Right. We just have to figure out steps to get there.
Yeah, yeah,
One
exactly.
step at a time. And that's how we're going about this. And that's why we're also making the videos, is because we think that other people probably share our dreams or at least part of them. And that those will be steps that other people might be able to take advantage of. Or yeah. And in the short term, obviously finishing up prepping for next year's garden, which is not near done yet. Um,
Yep.
Harvesting the very last bits of the couple of tomatoes that are still out there, planting the garden,
Hmm.
winterizing chickens, being able to just share that with you guys. And
Hmm.
Laura comparing her planting things outside while I have frost on the ground. A
Yep.
tiny bit jealous.
Yeah. It's crazy. Right now, there's still bananas on the trees, papayas on the trees, things are still blooming. So it does look quite different from there to here on these different peninsula states.
So true.
But but yeah, it's gonna be fun and we want to take you guys along on the journey.
Yeah. And we definitely will be honest, 100%.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, if you're interested in par probably good advice, definitely watching some struggles, lots of mistakes,
Yep.
a huge learning curve, and occasionally a laugh or two, and videos of chickens, because there will be quite a few of those. And if you've never had chickens, you will very quickly realize that they are some of the funniest animals you could watch. So,
It's very true. It's very true. All right. Well, we'll catch you on the next video then.
yes, and welcome to the Peninsulas.
Yeah, like and subscribe if you are interested in more.
Indeed.